All right, Red Hawk fans, conference play is now beginning. As you can see right above me, Maction is starting this week. The Red Hawks taking on the Northern Illinois Huskies in the Mallory Cup. It's the fifth edition since that trophy got introduced in 2018. Skyler, great to have you on. Skyler Kisellus from the Northern Star. I understand it's homecoming week for you guys as well. What's the general feeling, vibe around campus?
I mean, obviously, homecoming is a big thing here. It's we were one of the first schools to introduce homecoming, and it's the longest tradition in the state, at least. So it's pretty significant for us. It's number 118. So,
Wow.
and
Okay.
as far as the vibe of the game goes, we're not feeling as optimistic as one might have thought before because we're just coming off a loss. So 6-3 to San Diego State. It's the lowest scoring loss we've had since the 2010 International Bowl. So we're not feeling too confident. I mean, especially with the offense, they've been underwhelming as of weeks late. So it's more of a you can kind of expect what's going to happen, but obviously with Maction, anything can happen. We've seen it happen time and time again.
Yeah, it kind of seems that way. This is usually a low scoring series as well between the Red Hawks and the Huskies. I certainly wouldn't expect it to be any different on Saturday.
Yeah.
Skylar, you mentioned the struggles of the offense this season. A lot of it's come in the passing game, less than 100 yards per game. It's third to last in the country, only ahead of Army and Rice, and both those teams use an option style of offense. So it's certainly not a great start for NIU. What do you think's been the biggest issue there?
That's going to be the easiest answer I can give you today, and that's the quarterback situation. I mean, going into the season, we were sending out Josh Holst. He started 3 games for us last year, and he started the bowl game that we won in Idaho, and he was the MVP of that game. 2 passing touchdowns, even caught a 2-point conversion, and overtime win, double overtime win over Fresno State. And we think this year, you have the new offensive coordinator. We have Quinn Sanders from Charleston. He's got a scheme that he ran at Marengo High School back in his prep days, and you think, oh yeah, this is going to be more of a seamless fit for him. The offense is going to get rolling quickly, and this just as hasn't been the case. I mean, you see what the offensive play calling is, and you like what you see, but it's Holst just can't execute it for whatever reason. I mean, it might just be a confidence issue, or sometimes he just seems gun shy or he's not ready to pull a trigger on a play, and that just ultimately causes the offense to stagger routes. We thought we had a hint of something a little bit in Mississippi State when he threw his first passing touchdown of the year to D.I. Rogers, but since then, the offense has just been stagnant. And it's gotten to the point where you wonder, is Holst going to be the starter on Saturday? On the depth chart we got before the presser this week, Holst is listed as the number one guy, but when one of the other media guys asked Hammock who's if Holst was a starter, they're still evaluating things, and from little flutterings I've heard here and there, we could see true freshman Brady Davidson get the start this weekend.
Yeah, and you mentioned the presser that Coach Hammock had earlier this week is pretty non-committal. He also said there will not be two QB systems, so it's pretty much it's going to be one guy or the other. We shouldn't expect to see both on Saturday.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there was only one oddball equation that was like last year, Ball State. We started Holston, we went to Hampton, then back to Holston. It was a weird little flip-flop thing there. But for the most part, Hammock isn't a fan of two QB systems. Like he's either riding one guy or the other. That's that.
Yeah, certainly understandable. What do you think will be the biggest deciding factor in determining if Holster Davidson's the starter?
I think it's just gonna be how are they do in practice this week. I mean, it seems like Davidson's the favorite to take over, but as far as just confidence goes, I mean, if I'm host in this situation, confidence is not looking great. I mean, you lost 3 straight. You threw for under 50 passing yards against San Diego State. You haven't thrown a touchdown at Husky. You haven't scored a touchdown at Husky Stadium in your entire career. So it's just a matter of getting his head out of the abyss, however that happens. But Brady's a young guy, true freshman. When he was at spring ball this past spring, when he should have been at high school prom, like
Yeah.
he's really fresh, and he got a little bit of a taste of the game last week. He took over for a drive, but he threw a pick, and Hammock took him right out, which led to a few questionable ha's about that, but that's just how it goes. But I think it's really just depending on what Hammock sees in his two quarterbacks. But if I'm Hammock in this case, I let the true freshman play it out, see what he can put on the board.
Do you think skill set wise, do you think they're pretty similar, or do you think one guy can give more of like a rushing element than the other, or something else that I'm missing, or are they pretty much the same type of quarterback?
Well, it's interesting, yes, that. I mean, with the host, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the name Jordan Lynch. Jordan, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever come out of the MAC. I mean, he was a
Yep.
Heisman candidate back in
Yeah, I
2013.
remember he received votes.
Yeah, he received votes, and I think Holst is faster than Lynch. Holst has some wheels on him, but he just can't get the ball downfield. I mean, his completion percentage doesn't really pop off the charts at all. And then he's had a few picks. He has more picks and interceptions, more picks and touchdowns in his career. But Brady, he's got a good amount of arm talent. Like I've seen him in spring ball, he can launch a really good pass. I mean, he's not as mobile as Holst, but he can extend the play when he needs to. So as far as who's better at what. I think Brady's easily got the edge as far as passing talent. It's just, are we going to be able to actually see it this time around?
Okay, yeah. As far as the rest of the offense goes, it seems like they're going to have to really step up. Who are some guys that you're looking at to kind of carry more of the load for the offense?
That's gonna be our running backs. We've got more of a two running back system going right now. Tully Johnson Jr., he's a sophomore. He's been one of our I think he's our leading rusher right now. And then Shavon Wright, he followed our OC from Charleston to here, and he's about the size of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but he runs like Marshawn Lynch. Like he will shake off like 7 tackles on him. He does not care if you try to tackle him, he will just shake it off. And he's been a hard-nosed running back for us. So having those two carry some load, especially these past few weeks when the offense hasn't done much else. I mean, they've been one of these saving graces. And then J.R. Rodgers, he's a receiver for us. He's our slot man. So if he can get some balls going his way, then he can definitely get the ball downfield because he has wheels on him. He's a punt returner as well. So yeah, speed for that.
So moving on to the defense, it's been pretty well this season as it was last season and has often been the case with Thomas Hammock as the head coach. Quinn Yerweiler has been one of the best linebackers in all of college football, seventh in FBS in total tackles and second in tackles per game. He's only played 4 games, so the fact he's seventh in FBS, it's just really, really impressive. How would you rate his I guess, performance and just overall impact on the team and program this season?
I mean, Quentin Irwell is a very fascinating story. He's a 6-year senior for this team, and he made his first career start this year. Like this is his first time as a starter. He's been spent these past 3 or 4 seasons since he transferred from North Dakota, learning behind guys like Tyler Jackson, Deron Gilberts, and I'm trying to think of the other names right now. I'm blanking on the names, but he has learned from some very talented linebackers to come through this program. And I mean, his impact can't be understated enough. He wears the green dot for the defense. He's kept his defense very composed, especially against some pretty tough offensive challenges, like we saw at Maryland, at Mississippi State. And he has been a phenomenal run stopper. I mean, like you mentioned, he's one of the top tacklers in the country. And that's also a testament to the defensive line. They've been playing excellent, and that's allowed him and Philip Maturowski, our weak side linebacker, to really get a lot of the work when it comes to making tackles. But Erweiler is definitely the centerpiece of a defense whose star going into the season was Roy Williams. And he's a guy who the Athletic was ranking as one of the top 100 freaks in college football. Just a pure athlete, just a monster. But since then, Erweiler's been the man. He's been the top dog of this defense. He's like without him, I don't know if our defense is nearly as impactful as it is now.
His first start coming this season. That's a really good story that you mentioned. Really don't see that oftentimes in college football. Love seeing stories like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, because the thing about this NIU is that it's very much a developmental program. Like you see guys who stick around the program for years, who play a reserve or rotational role, and then when it finally comes time for their number to get called, they perform very well. I mean, strong safety Muhammad Jameh, that's been the case for him. I think his first year was back in the 21 MAC championship year. He played in that game, and since then, he's been more of a rotational guy, and now he's one of the anchors of our secondary, along with Jacob Finley. Same deal with him. So, I mean, Erweiler, he has definitely earned his keep here. He's definitely put in the work. He's weighed the time, and now he is seeing gains from that.
Yeah, I just love seeing stories like that. I feel like both Miami and NIU have very similar examples that they could show from each of their teams. I think Silas Walters is a good example on the Miami side. Moving on to this week's game, Skylar, what are some of the things that you're most looking forward to seeing or just overall interested in seeing in this game? Could be a matchup, could be a player to watch, anything like that catch your eye?
I'm really interested to see how NAU responds to whichever quarterback Miami trots out. I know DeQuan Finn's been dealing with an injury since that UNLV game, and Henry Hessen more than held things down against Lindenwood. It was a 38-0 route there, so it's more of whatever quarterback Miami trots out is, and I going to be able to respond accordingly because you're not just game planning for one starter. Now you got to keep an eye on two of them. And then just to see if you can limit them because we've faced some tough quarterbacks. I mean, the first two games, you're facing very fresh quarterbacks. Holy Cross, their guy was that was his first collegiate start. Malik Washington with Maryland, that was his second. And Blake Shapen, the 6-year senior, he tore us up pretty good. And so now it's whether we get DeQuan Finn, a quarterback we've seen plenty of times before from his days at Toledo, or a new face in Henry Hessen, and see how we manage that. And then as far as our side, I want to see if NIU is going to make that move at quarterback because that's I know our fan base has definitely been desiring that since Saturday and pretty vocally too.
Yeah.
It's a matter of if Davidson is QB1 come Saturday, how is he going to handle his first college start? Is he going to because last year Holst when his first collegiate start was the homecoming game against Toledo. So it's almost a kind of full circle, not really full circle thing there. So just seeing how our offense can respond to that.
Yeah, definitely some similarities there. I definitely get what you're saying. So you think it's pretty overwhelming that the Husky fan base wants Davidson behind center?
Yeah, no, my Twitter mentions have mentioned that quite a bit.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. Ultimately in this game, last question for you, Skylar. What do you think will be the deciding factor in this game?
I think the deciding factor is what NIU's offense can do. I have full faith that NIU's defense can, keep a lid on Miami. I mean, they've been able to, keep a lid on some tough opponents earlier this season. I mean, we're just and the fact they have experience against one of these quarterbacks too, and with this team from last year, they lost 29 in Oxford. So, and even though we lost a lot on the defensive side of the ball, we a lot of the players on the starting lineup right now, they've been on the team long enough where they know what Miami brings to the table. It's just, can the offense finally step up? Can they finally deliver what they were been supposed to do all season long? Can they finally show signs of life, or is it going to be more of the same? And then it gets time to get pretty concerned. So really, it's going to be offense. If offense comes out strong, we're feeling pretty confident. If not, we're just going to see a repeat of last week.
Should be a competitive matchup in the Maction opener for the Red Hawks and the Huskies. Skylar, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can we find you out? Shout yourself out.
Sure. So you can find my content on northernstar.info. That is the official website for the Northern Star. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can find me at Skyler Kisellus on Twitter. Well, now called X, but I call it Twitter anyway.
Yeah, so as do I.
Yeah.
Skylar, thanks again for joining me today.
Thank you, Brian. Good talking to you.